Brad Lander was arrested yesterday after trying to see inside an ICE holding facility. Not only were he and other lawmakers denied entry to the facility, the ICE agents on the other side duct taped shut the cracks in the door so you couldn't even see in a sliver. The holding cells they were trying to access have been the object of public scrutiny and lawsuits over the conditions in there. This video went viral of people laying on the concrete floor, sleeping in the bathroom, which by the way is not a separate room, has no privacy. And there were complaints that people were deprived of proper meals, medical care, basic hygiene, and the ability to call their lawyers. So there was a lawsuit and a federal judge ordered ICE to improve the conditions, which leads us to Lander and 10 other elected officials all getting arrested after trying to see if the conditions were indeed improved. Let me explain how this works though legally, because you've probably seen a lot of videos recently of Congress people like knocking on detention center doors and being like, hello, let me in, it's my job. So federal detention centers are subject to the oversight of the federal government, which means that members of Congress have the right to visit and inspect those facilities. They can just knock on the door. State and local lawmakers like Brad Lander and his peers do not have the same statutory power to just say, let me in. The problem is that ICE has even denied members of Congress access to this holding cell, the ones that have the oversight abilities, right? Because they say, oh, this is just a temporary holding center, not a detention center, therefore we don't have to let you in. Which brings me to my final point that even if something is technically legal, like duct taping close the doors to your detention facility, that doesn't mean it's humane. Which is why I think it's a good thing that state lawmakers, even if they know they aren't guaranteed access to the facility, are still bringing national attention to how secretive ICE is being, especially after a lawsuit about inhumane conditions. This is not the first time that Brad Lander has been arrested at this very facility trying to protect immigrants. Also, if you don't know him, he's the person that cross-endorsed with Zoran in the mayoral primary. Like, they both supported each other in the run for mayor. He's a really good progressive elected official to follow for updates about ICE in New York specifically, so I'm going to drop his Instagram here as your little action item for today. Go follow him to make sure that you're in the loop about what's going on with ICE and what you can do to support the people who are pushing back against horrible conditions.